Hi friends, how are you? The weather is kind of crummy outside, so I figured that we would take this opportunity and do a first chapter read again. I have not read this book, so I'm just letting you know. But every review that I have seen, this book is outstanding, and it's one of those ones that needs to be read. So with no further delay, first chapter is going to be Song for a Whale by Lynne Kelly. Isn't that a nice cover? It's so pretty. So here we go. Chapter 1. Gotta put on my reading glasses. By the way, this is much shorter than The Whispers. But The Whispers was awesome, wasn't it? All right, so here's chapter 1 of Song for a Whale. Until last summer, I thought the only thing I had in common with that whale on the beach was a name. I sat with Grandpa after collecting shells and driftwood scattering along the shore and wildflowers from the dunes. The shells and driftwood were for Grandma, and the flowers were for the whale. Grandpa had asked how school was going, and I told him it was the same, which wasn't good. I'd been at the school for 2 years and still felt like a new kid. Grandpa patted the sand next to him. "Did you know she was probably deaf too?" he signed. I didn't have to ask what he meant. The whale had been buried for 11 years, and my parents had told me enough times about what had happened that day. I shook my head. I didn't know that, and I didn't know why Grandpa was changing the subject. Maybe he didn't know what to tell me anymore about school. The whale had beached herself the same day that I was born. When she was spotted in the shallow waters of the Gulf, some people stood on the shore and watched her approach. My grandpa ran into the cold February water to try to push her away from the land, as if she could make a 40-ton animal change her mind about where she wanted to go. That was really dangerous. Even though the whale was weak by then, one good whack with a tail or a flipper could have knocked Grandma out. And I don't know what I would have done. Jumped in like she did, or just stood there and watched. She wasn't born deaf like we were, Grandpa continued. The scientists who studied her said it had happened. Maybe she'd been swimming near an explosion from an oil rig or a bomb test. When Grandpa told the story, I saw it as clearly as if it were happening right there in front of me. He signed, his signing hands showed me the whale in the ocean that suddenly went quiet, swimming over there, trying to find the sounds again. Maybe that was why she had been there on our Gulf of Mexico beach instead of in deep ocean waters where she belonged. Sei whales didn't swim so close to shore, only her on that day. A whale can't find its way through the world without sound, Grandpa added. The ocean is dark, and it covers most of the earth, and whales live in all of it. The sounds guide them through that, and they talk to one another across oceans. With the familiar sounds of the ocean gone, the whale was lost in her new world. A rescue group came to the beach and tried to save the whale, and they called her Iris. Grandma asked my parents to give the name to me too, since I entered the world the same day that the whale was leaving it. After the marine biologists learned all they could from her, she was buried right there on the beach, along with the unanswered questions about what had brought her to that shore. We lived on that coast until the summer after second grade when my family moved to Houston for my dad's new job. Since then, we went back just once or twice a summer. The good thing about our new home was that it was closer to my grandparents. I liked being able to spend more time with them, especially since they were both deaf like me. But we all missed the beach, and I missed being around kids like me. My old school had just a few deaf kids, but that was enough. We had our classes together, and we had one another. But it's different for us, Grandpa signed. Out here, there's more light, and all we need is our own small space to feel at home. Sometimes it takes time to figure things out, but you'll do it. You'll find your way. I wish I'd asked him how long it would take. Chapter 1, Song for a Whale. That's kind of sad, but also beautiful, right? All right, I'll check in with you in a couple days for another book.